If given the option, would you want to be neurotypical?
Well, no, because I know being autistic makes me who I am. It's not a fatal disease or an illness. It makes me who I am. And for those who are on the spectrum watching this, it makes us who we are.
As a black man on the spectrum, do you ever feel underrepresented?
Yeah, sometimes I do. Because, sometimes people think whites are more affected with autism than blacks, and that's not true. Autism affects, everyone of the different race, not just one race.
I'm happy I get to be here and make a new friend.
I'm happy I get to hear and make a new friend too.
How do you feel when you make a new friend?
I feel happy all inside and happy that I'm connecting with someone.
I feel like I'm connecting with you too.
I know I'm different and I appreciate that I'm different, but I still deserve to be treated like any other human being. And don't tell me to try to act like a normal person because normal is a setting on a dryer. And overall, nobody's normal.
Do you want to be normal?
Well, no, because there is no normal. We're all different.
Welcome to SBSK. Join me as I travel around the world and interview individuals living with a condition to prove no matter how you communicate or what obstacles you face, you're always deserving of love and acceptance. So without hesitation, let's meet today's friend. If you had one wish, what would it be?
Well, that's really hard to answer because you know what they say, be careful what you wish for.
But what if you had to wish for something?
Well, one thing I would wish for is the ability of telepathy.
What's that?
Telepathy is the ability to read the emotions of another person or another living thing. It'd also be handy if you can to try and tell if a person's lying. Because few people said I don't know how to handle other people's feelings. But I would know how to try to understand what they're feeling easier.
How would you describe autism to somebody who never heard of it?
Well, I would describe it to them as a neurological disorder that affects one's ability to socialize and communicate, that they think differently and see things differently.
What is something that scares you?
Well, something that scares me is when that something gets too much for me to handle. If that happens, I get meltdowns and stuff, and I'm afraid of failure sometimes. But I try so hard. But if I know I'm gonna fail, sometimes I back out. But I don't want to be the person to back out anymore.
I have to tell everybody watching how brave you are because you asked if I would send you a list of all the questions I was going to ask. And I told you that I would prefer not to, so it would be more like a conversation. Why did you want a list of all those questions, though?
Because I like to be prepared for what's coming. And when I'm not totally prepared for something, I get kind of nervous.
You're doing a great job answering the questions spontaneously. What about the randomness of a situation can cause you nerves?
Yeah, sometimes randomness can cause me nervous and cause me a stomach ache sometime. But I know I have to be brave enough to try because, you don't get chances like this often.
And I'm proud of you for trying this. And everything I've asked you, you knocked it out of the ballpark. You're doing fabulous.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. What's the best thing about being you?
That I am brave and show true passion for myself, and that I am not afraid to take risks sometimes.
What's the most difficult thing about being you?
Well, that sometimes my goals can be hard to reach for, and that I don't understand social cues and getting carried away when I don't really mean to. But I'm trying to learn from my mistakes.
What are some social cues that are hard for you to pick up on?
Like if someone's offended or getting upset or feels like I'm overwhelming them. Sometimes it's hard to pick up on that when I know I'm just trying to be friendly and be a friend. Because I like meeting someone new, and I know I don't mean to get up all in your face, but I don't mean any harm. Sometimes when I get excited when I see someone I haven't seen in a long time, I go up and hug them, and I know sometimes it can scare people, but I'm trying to work on that. I just want them to know I mean no harm.
I know that a lot of this interview has been talking about what makes you different, but that's only so we can educate everybody.
Yes, and I know that's the purpose. I've seen a lot of your videos.
I want you to know that I understand that we're more similar than we are different.
Yeah.
There might be that little bit that's different, but most of what we are, we have in common.
Yes, I know.
Like the fact we both like to make friends.
Yeah, we do.
We both like movies.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We'd both rather feel happy than sad.
Yeah.
What are some other things we have in common?
That I can't really answer, but I do know that we're both trying to work together to make a difference and working our way up.
We both are doing that. And I'm proud to be doing that with you.
And I'm proud to be doing it. It's okay if we hug?
It is okay. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that you respect my personal boundaries. Why do you enjoy hugging friends?
Because it makes you feel like you connect with them, like they understand you.
I feel like I understand you.
Like it's like you have emotional connection.
Do you enjoy an emotional connection?
Yes, I do.
Well, I feel like I understand you, and I feel like you understand me.
I feel like that the same way.
And I value our friendship.
Yeah, I do. We need to stick together as one and fight for what's right.
What is right?
Like accepting each other as human beings, like that we are different and we are not all born the same. Because how boring the world would be if we were all born the same. Difference is what makes the world go round.
Do you want more chances to make friends?
Yes, I do. I want more chances to make friends, to get out there. And I know it's hard to put yourself out there, but you just gotta try. You can't stay in your house your whole life.
Is this hard for you right now to put yourself out there?
No, it isn't. Because when I saw you, how you were doing, going all over the world, I knew this was my chance to really put myself out there, to take action and make an effort to make a difference.
Well, I'm sure you're going to make a big difference with this video. You made a difference for me already.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, a big difference. Listening to you advocate, it really has added a lot of value to my life.
Yeah, I'm glad you came.
I'm glad to be here. When somebody meets you for the first time, what do you hope they think?
I hope they think that I'm a nice guy who means no harm. I hope they know that I'm very courageous and brave and not afraid to go up and say hi to people.
What's the best thing about making a new friend?
The best thing about making a new friend is that you have something in common, that you're connected, and that you find someone that can really understand you. Like if you find the courage to reach out to people, like here on Special Books by Special Kids, like you might find a companion that will support you for the rest of your life, and you never know what comfort they can offer you.
Is there anything in your life that you want that you don't have yet?
Well, there is nothing I don't know yet. Like, even though I do want a girlfriend, like, I haven't even figured out myself yet. And sometimes you need to be in a relationship when you fully figure out yourself. Like, why do you think some couples, like, split up? Because, like, they say that they need to figure out who they are without each other. And if it's truly meant to be, they'll find their way back to each other.
Have you learned a lot of your life lessons from media?
Yeah, mostly media. I pay attention. Like, one of my morals is not to steal. One of my morals is not to meddle in the affairs of the heart.
What does that mean?
Like, don't meddle in someone's relationship. Don't get involved in it. I learned that from, like, Harry Potter. You know the love potions they make sometime? Like, I know that even magicals shouldn't meddle in the affairs of the heart. Because when they do, bad things could happen.
What do you have to work on yourself for?
Well, I just have to find out my career path and what I want to achieve and know myself before I think about relationships. Because, like, how can you get in a relationship or get even married when you don't even know yourself yet? Because when you do that, sometimes things don't go well.
That's very mature of you. I'm proud of you for being so self-aware.
Yeah, because I learned that from a lot of drama shows on Freeform. I still like the Disney Channel, which I'm not afraid to admit, because, like, we all like different things. And you're not supposed to like something because people tell you you're supposed to. Like whatever you like, and do what makes you happy. Like, life is too short. We gotta come together like sister and brothers and love and support each other.
How can the people watching at home come together as your sister and brothers?
Just reach out to me and start a conversation with me, and don't be shy. Because, like, we need to come together as one and bring more acceptance of autism and other disabilities in this world.
What was high school like for you?
Well, high school was kind of hard and good at the same time. Like, I had friends to talk to and stuff, but sometimes I felt like it was hard because sometimes I was often turned away or people would ignore me and I really didn't understand why, and I had to ask myself what I was doing wrong. And always struggled as why I couldn't maintain or keep the friends I wanted to. These popularity contests, they can make others feel bad. And just so you know, like, making others feel bad because they're not popular, it's horrible. And people should learn that being popular does not mean everyone likes you. I mean, I tried to learn that lesson one time when I tried to be popular, so more people will like me. But I had to learn that I had to just be me. I don't have to be like everyone else. And who cares if I'm not in AP or gifted classes? We all learn at our own pace, and we succeed in our own ways.
I'm proud of you for accepting who you are.
Yeah, I am too. There was this one time I was nominated for homecoming court in my junior year, and few people nominated me because they thought I would be good, but I heard that few people nominated me as a joke, and that's when I realized that homecoming can be kind of sometimes good and sometimes bad, because having a popularity contest like that could make others feel bad. And I think these popularity contests can be so demeaning and stuff. And superlatives like most likely to succeed, most class clown, or stuff. And sometimes they're good, but sometimes they can make others feel bad, like being compared. And all this comparison can cause really big conflict.
What's the most misunderstood thing about autism?
That we can't feel or feel empathy or feel love for anything.
Do you feel emotions?
Yeah.
Every emotion?
Yeah, I feel every emotion, like happiness, sadness, anger, grief. Neurotypicals sometimes see people on the spectrum as weird and too different. But regardless of our diagnosis, we're still human beings, just like everyone else.
Why do you think neurotypical people have a hard time understanding autistic people?
Well, I guess it's because they act differently and think differently than they do. But they have to understand that regardless of our diagnosis, that we're human, just like they are. I was diagnosed with it when I was 3 years old. Like, even before I knew I was diagnosed, I always knew I was different. I always felt like the oddball outside my peers. Like, sometimes I was turned away or people would ignore me. And I had to ask myself the question, like, what am I doing wrong?
How can people help you?
By trying to be more understanding, that talk me through, that I just, how I can be a friend and just say what you're comfortable with, and I don't know.
So you're okay with people just verbalizing their thoughts, and maybe if they're feeling overwhelmed saying, hey, I just need a little bit of space, I'll talk to you tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll need to understand that, because I'll give you space, and I just find something to do to occupy my time, even though I feel upset. And even though I might not always like what I hear, like, I just have to hear it, because whether you like it or not, you have to hear what other people have to say. And sometimes I'm not good with first impressions and stuff, because sometimes I get excited, whatever, to find something I have so much in common with. Sometimes I get carried away, I admit that. And I'm not afraid to admit my faults, that sometimes I'm curious and impulsive, and sometimes my emotions get the better of me sometimes when I feel like no one's listening to me. But I'm lucky to have friends that love me still, regardless of my flaws.
If you just made a new friend and could do anything, what would you want to do with them?
Well, I would take them out to lunch. We would go out to a movie.
What kind of movie?
Like, it depends on what we both can agree on. I like family movies, I like Disney movies, I like action movies, and sometimes comedy. And if they like something else, like if they feel the same thing, all we have to do is just compromise. Because I don't like to think that my ideas are better than the others. This poem is called Humility for Disability, and it's about accepting other people with disabilities. And it's not just about autism, but others with Down syndrome or any other disability that affects them. You ready?
I'm ready.
We are not all born the same. How boring the world would be. Being different is the best thing. Makes us a lot more free. There are some that are very different, disabilities here and there. They are still human beings. Treat them equally and fair. Everyone is affected differently, can be mild to severe. Still don't hesitate to say hi, no need to live in fear. Don't refuse to get to know someone, we shouldn't have a set view. Regardless of their diagnosis, they're still just like you. We should have the hearts to come together like sister and brother. Our feelings are all the same. Love and support each other.
That's a beautiful poem. Thank you for sharing.
I'm glad I did. Sometimes I'm afraid I'm gonna mess up when things like this, and that's my internal struggle. But I know I'm gonna keep trying. I know that everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes you can come back from it. You just gotta keep trying and push through.
Thanks for watching. It's our mission to show that the world is a better place when everyone has the opportunity to be part of it. If you want to support that, click the big yellow SBSK button to subscribe. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.